we'll be able to see all that AI research about this account. And then also we'll surface up the contacts who I might want to reach out to. So you can see Sam here has a pretty high score. She's changed jobs recently. She's visited our demo page, stuff like that. I might want to take action and use that research as a hook. I can click into Sam here and then say, let's draft a message. I can click on Rumi, competitor neg, and this is pulling a quote from a negative intercom review. You can do this bulk by selecting multiple people and then adding them to an outreach sequence.
Next up in the tank is a way to identify warm prospects and reach out using AI agents. Please welcome Kevin White, head of GTM strategy at Common Room. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. I think you're dialing in from San Fran, right?
Yeah. Easy time for me here, 10 o'clock. And everyone's been so good on time. And I'm going to go fast because I want to cover a lot of ground here. So I guess let's just get into it. Yeah.
Right on. Let's do it.
All right. And okay, so the first thing I want to do, and it's not going to be all slideware here, is just kind of like share what what Common Room does as a platform. I think it's a good like primer to set the stage for the demo. So real quick here, the things we do really well is capture signal from any digital breadcrumb you can think of, and we just keep expanding this over time. We pull all that signal and identify the person behind it or the account behind the signal, and enrich that with lots of different information and data that you need to do outbound or activation, and then unify it all in the same user profile. So you know that this person here is the same person who visited your website or is using your product or interacting on social, etc. And then the last thing is, activating, like putting these two things together to take action of like pricing page visitors or signal stacking to say like, oh, these are the top accounts that reps should be looking into and taking action on. And so when you think about that as the infrastructure, like the data layer, when you add AI on top of that, you can do lots of really cool things like use AI to go capture bespoke signals, which I'll be demoing some of. Also to prioritize scoring, say like this account or this person's the best person to reach out to. And then also on the like actionability side of things, like generating outbound emails like an AI SDR or something like that. So without further ado, let's jump into a demo. I actually have this kind of like checklist of things, and I have 6 minutes and 38 seconds and counting. So hopefully I can get to a lot of these things. So the first thing I want to show, and I'm kind of going to go through like the whole end-to-end pipe gen process here, ideally. So the first thing is just doing account research and how that is super easy for reps. So if I click into, this is a Common Room. So if I click into any one of these accounts, you can see here, lots of different information about this account. It's that aggregated, unified view of all the activity and signals that are happening within that account. And then also we add on this out-of-the-box AI research layer. So essentially, instead of an account going and doing a rep going in and doing their own research, all of this is just done, and AI is very good at doing this, and also can use all the signals from Common Room to pull in bespoke things. So you can see here we have this populated for Vercel on this account, but the cool factor or the cool thing I want to demo is you can actually click into, if you don't see this sparkly thing here, that means this account has not gone through that research yet. As you can see, our agent is going out, finding out, like looking at what's happening within Apple as an account. And this is now like kind of doing its agentic reasoning thing. And they're going to plop all of that research about this account that we maybe care about as a rep into this account here so that we can use it for personalization or context or whatever. So let's look at what's going on behind the scenes here. And I actually wanted to highlight, if I go back to Vercel, we can look at, this is like an example of the signals that is really great about Vercel that a rep or someone should like take action on. It's kind of a summarization here. And so if I go into our back end and show you what that looks like, you can see here in this, let me say it's hot signals. Sorry, there's a lot in this demo instance. And you can see here that we're pulling in these little dynamic traits about this account. So we're looking at hiring trends, we're looking at funding news, we're looking at LinkedIn activity. All this stuff is signals that this account has connected. And so this is kind of like a view of our library of signals that people are connecting to and pulling into Common Room. And you can see there's quite a lot here. And so this is kind of like the inputs to the quality data that the AI can use for that account prioritization. And so if I go back to my app now, let's see if this worked. If I click on Apple, it might not, it's still thinking. So let me go back to it in a second. But the other thing I wanted to show here, I'm actually going to check this one off, is not only can you not only do you get those out of the box research signals, but you also can create your own. And so if I wanted to create another one of those boxes for research, I can easily just go into and add a new AI message. And let's look at this one first, primary competitors. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong tab here. Competitors. You can see here that it's just like looking at this organization name and listing 5 competitors. That's what this prompt is doing. And so if I wanted to build on top of that and say like, oh, let's create a prompt of using the return value of this and say, like, let's find negative reviews from those competitors, I can do that as a new thing. So I'm going to go back here and say there's a negative competitor review prompt here. We're looking at the output of that research that we just created here, and then using that to like daisy chain a new prompt, which is super cool and super powerful. So if I go back to the app, let's see, hopefully the Apple one's done now. Let's see. Yay. Okay, good. So we see here all that stuff is populated. It was maybe more than a minute, but still you get the point. And so the next thing you would want to do as a rep is start taking action on these. And so because that new field for negative competitor reviews is not live yet, I already have this instance of it where it's live. And so let's say I wanted to run a campaign, like a micro campaign around any company that has a competitor of like Intercom or something like that. So what I'm gonna do is click add filter here, and I'm gonna say primary competitors contains Intercom. And this will give me a list of the companies, the accounts that have Intercom as a primary competitor. I can click as if I'm a rep, I can click into one of these that are my accounts. I'll click into customer here. We'll be able to see all that like AI research about this account. And then also we'll surface up the contacts from a customer who I might want to reach out to based on all the different signals and things that we've scored. So you can see Sam here has a pretty high score. She's changed jobs recently. She's visited our demo page, stuff like that. So now as a rep, I might want to take action on Sam and use that signal, that research as a hook. Like maybe say like, hey, Intercom has a negative sentiment because like XYZ as a hook to that email. And so to your outbound. So if I can click into Sam here and then say like, let's draft an outbound message for a rep using that research signal that we found. I can click on this and say, we've already have these like kind of baked generated email prompts here. And so I can click on Rumi competitor neg, and this is going to say, it's pulling a quote from a negative Intercom review. I don't mean to bag on Intercom. I think it's a great product. I'm just showing this for exemplary purposes. And then it says, based on customers' self-serve motion, this is looking at their business model. You can do XYZ to stand out and steal business from Intercom. Here's an example of like how one of our customers is like doing something similar with a case study. And so like all of this is all customizable using the inputs of signals that we know about customer and about Sam to generate one of those outbound emails that is like super bespoke and also powered by signals and not just like by scraping LinkedIn. And then I'm running really short on time. So the last thing I want to show is not only can you do this one-on-one, you can do this bulk by selecting multiple people within this micro segment or within this account, and then adding them to an outreach sequence. And so I can show here, if I type in demo, you can see that AI generated snippet. This is all just going to push to outreach. And so this is a way for reps to scale their like outbound and using AI to like generate stuff for them. So I don't know if I got to everything. I didn't get to the automation part. I got to kind of like bulk, but I think I covered all this stuff, and I have 1 second left, so I'm going to stop.
First of all, thank you. I actually remember when Common Room was a community intelligence platform, and you're welcome. I got you the high touch integration prioritized when I was at Grammarly because I understood the power of the tool, even when it was tracking community based off of my experiences at WeWork, because that's such a hard thing to track. So clearly a pivot has been made, and a very successful one at that. Y'all are hustling. I respect it. And because I get the sales side value, I'm curious how you're making waves outside of just sales to help marketing with their campaigns and the relationship with sales to be more unique and maybe a little less common.
Yeah, I love that question. We have a lot of people who are using like the legacy ABM platforms on the marketing side now moving over to Common Room. And because it is tracking like signals across the whole funnel. It's not just a sales thing. It's not just a marketing thing. It's not just a CS thing, but like sales is like the primary person interacting with the product, but marketers are certainly like using it for ABM purposes, and they're, like dark funnel, top of funnel signals, they're able to track and pull those signals in and maybe not pass them over to sales because they're not ready. They can, find the accounts that are warm accounts based on different account signals and then push those into LinkedIn for ad targeting, or push them into their HubSpot list or Salesforce campaigns for nurturing and stuff like that. So it is certainly like an ABM use case. It's just, instead of that bid stream data that you get from vendors who I will not name, it's more actionable, like real signals from real accounts and real people.
I don't mind naming and shaming.
6 cents.
Demand based.
Yeah. Demand based is a customer, so I don't talk bad about demand based.
I apologize. I'm also a partner. I respect all platforms. They just all have pros and cons.
Those platforms are all great. They have their own use case. It's just ours is different, and there's not there's a use case for them too.
Actually, it might be a good thing to highlight. What is the difference? What is the use case?
Yeah, so I think those platforms are built for marketing first, where it's like, and it's like, okay, marketers think in this paradigm of like, I'm going to just put an ad on it. And so it's like, find all these accounts that, I'm talking bad about marketers and I'm a marketer myself, but it's like thinking through, like, here are all the accounts that we want to warm up. Like, let's put ads in front of them. And that's the signal that we're generating. Those platforms, and there's a time and place for that, and those platforms are really good at that, and that's what they started as, and then they kind of transitioned more into the sales side of things, and that's where the like disconnect kind of happens, where it's like hard for sales to action that, because it's like, oh, some person from some account looked at a tech target article. It's not the easiest thing to do, to act on.
Kevin, I'll ask quickly, working with signal-based plays, it's kind of the rage right now. It makes a lot of sense. But how do you know which signals are working in your platform? Feel free to throw up the screen again if it helps to illustrate it. But how do you actually say, like, right, this play, this email, this signal, that's what we should double down on?
I just closed my window out.
Oh, you're good. Or just paint us a picture.
We have, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So we have reporting that's on the, you run this play, and then that leads to pipeline and connects to Salesforce. And so you can see like which of those plays are working from your team. So yeah, essentially it's like every play that you run is like a segment, and then we do reporting on top of that. It's not loading. It's a weird demo environment, and I wasn't prepared. So, but it does exist, and you can do it.
That'd be a great fast follow on LinkedIn.